Ah, yes. The summit. The high summit between Candace Owens and Erika Kirk. The meeting, the sit down, the summit, the rapprochement, détente. Finally, good for, oh, thank God, they're going to be meeting. The world can breathe a sigh of relief. Finally, Appomattox, the disarmament, armistice, finally put an end to this. This meeting that we're talking about, which is great, by the way, which is, hey, terrific. But this meeting did not materialize out of goodwill or spiritual reconciliation. It came out of pressure, months of it. Pressure that began the moment Charlie Kirk was assassinated outside this event on September the 10th. And it hasn't let up since. This is when it started. Authorities charged Tyler Robinson. Okay. I'm not going to get into that one, but there's a lot of questions about that. And the facts and the official narrative. And that fact alone would have ended the story in a quieter era. At a different time, it would have been sealed, wrapped, branded as resolved, finished, case closed, disposed of. That's it. But this is not a quieter era. And Candace Owens is not a quieter figure. She did what institutions fear most. She kept asking questions, which is what everybody should do, up to and including the FBI and DOJ and everybody else. That's all she did. That's it. They're making her out to be the heavy. She asked questions. Candace Owens raised the possibility of wider involvement, not as a declaration, but as an insistence that answered gaps and holes in the story and the narrative remain unanswered. And she questioned the internal dynamics at TPUSA, which is something they didn't want, and that's the reason for this. She questioned timing. She questioned motive. She questioned money. A lot of people are asking money. Who are these people? Where'd this money go? She questioned the abrupt leadership shift that elevated Erika Kirk to CEO, and she questioned whether the organization was protecting itself rather than the truth. Is she not supposed to say that? They made it sound like this was some sinister move on her part. She's asking questions that everybody should have asked. And she's been made out to be the heavy. She's the one. And if Erika, and by the way, this is a smart move on Erika Kirk's part, because having Candace continue to ask these questions doesn't help them at all. And that is where the panic began with all of that. Charlie Kirk himself reportedly worried that internal turmoil could complicate the various procedures and the governance of the organization. That detail matters because it shows awareness that the public narrative and the legal process are not separate universes. They kind of bleed into each other. And when a case becomes symbolic, every word matters. And silence becomes a strategy. They didn't want Candace to be asking any questions. They didn't want this. But of course, they jumped on her. And all of the people around Erika, not Erika herself, but TPUSA, they jumped on her. She's an anti-Semite. They came at her left and right. You didn't know, Charlie. You're a grifter. Okay. And Candace said at first, okay, I'm not going to say anything, but no. Now they forced her hand. Now they forced her to come out and say, well, let me explain to you why I'm asking these questions. And TPUSA and Erika Kirk, and I'm not suggesting Erika Kirk's involved in anything nefarious, but this isn't the way it's supposed to work at all. If whatever her deal is, who knows? Again, nobody's accusing Erika Kirk of anything. But she's being played I'm sorry to say, by a bunch of people who don't have her interests at heart. And mark my words, when they don't need her anymore, she's gone. Here, take your money, have a nice payoff. Good night, see you later. Get out of the way. We don't want any more eyes on this. TPUSA isn't just about money, it's enormous. And supporters like Ted Cruz called for peace and unity. Good. That's the safe language of people who understand fire and want to keep their distance. Just, everybody else is coming forward. All of these influencers. Oh, that's great. Good for you. Who the hell are you? No kidding. People say these things reflexively. Rob Reiner, our thoughts and prayers. It's like Gesundheit. Have a nice day. We just say these things. Unity, by the way, is often code for stop talking. See, peace is often code for just let this pass. Let this be done. Candace Owens didn't let it pass. Remember, they kept goading her. And instead of retweeting, she intensified. And instead of softening her message, she sharpened it. And in so doing, she forced a meeting that was never intended to happen. That is the first reality to understand. This meeting was not a gift to Candace Owens. It was a concession extracted by pressure. It's for their benefit to calm Candace down, to get her agreement. Back off. Quit asking questions. We're sorry we said all this about you. It got out of control. Please, just go somewhere else. Talk about something else. Stop showing, text messages with Charlie. Stop this. That's what this is. Now enter the media. Barry Weiss has attempted to reframe Erika Kirk as a kind of a, and not nefariously, but kind of like a moral avatar for MAGA Christianity. And her telling Erika is not merely a grieving widow or an interim executive, navigating chaos. She's a teacher of forgiveness. And Barry Weiss, by the way, is very smart. She goes so far as to suggest that she was incapable of understanding forgiveness until Erika explained it to her. And then she performs the explanation for the audience as if, revealing a newly discovered sacrament. Who knows? A lot of this is theater. A lot of it's a schmaltz. You understand it. That's what this is. People are playing it up, and I understand it. This is not journalism, by the way. It's like catechism. And the performance is transparent. When media figures abandon skepticism in favor of reverence, this goes against their nature. They're not informing audiences. They're protecting something, protecting assets, protecting self-interest. And Erika Kirk, at this moment, is an asset to multiple interests. She is useful, critical as a stabilizing symbol. She's useful as a human shield. She's useful as a narrative, kind of like a firewall or a blood-brain barrier between TPUSA and deeper scrutiny. And she's critical and useful to media figures who want access without conflict. But usefulness, unfortunately, has an expiration date. You see, you're only useful for so long. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Erika Kirk benefits from this meeting because she understands the terrain. She knows that as long as Candace Owens continues asking questions, the scrutiny does not and will not fade. It multiplies. It attracts audits, formal and informal. It invites donors, journalists, regulators, and rivals to look closer. Not because Candace accuses, but because she refuses to close the book. Because Candace keeps this going because, as you know, we have the attention span of a gnat. So anybody who keeps the interest focused, not that Candace is saying anything in particular against Erika, I can't say that enough, but just by having the loose ends available, there's all this focus, all of this attention. And that kind of reality forces a calculation. You see, when powerful organizations face persistent inquiry and review, they generally choose one of three strategies: ignore, discredit, or absorb. See, ignoring Candace Owens is no longer possible. Discrediting her only amplifies her. You know, what does not destroy me makes me stronger. You only take flak when you're over the target. You know the routines. And that leaves absorption. Absorption can take many forms: private meetings, reconciliation language, appeals to unity, emotional storytelling, and yes, offers that attempt to neutralize rather than answer. Silence does not always come with a threat. Sometimes it comes with a smile and a promise. And this is why the meeting matters. Not because Candace Owens needs it. No. Because Erika Kirk does. TPUSA does. Erika has been forced into a publicity tour that exposed her to something she was not prepared for: scrutiny, accusations of performance, claims of overacting and melodrama, questions about authenticity. Some people were even questioning whether she had some kind of camphor or some type of stage prop to. I'm serious. I have no reason to believe, but people are like, oh my God. I mean, seriously, come on. She didn't bargain for this. She didn't. She said, wait a minute, my husband's dead. The father of my children are dead. I don't know if I can handle this. And maybe she can. Maybe she's not supposed to. That's the thing. And they're pushing her out there. Sell it. And then there's questions about timing and questions about whether grief is being used as some kind of armor. I mean, this is not cruelty. It's consequence. When you step into power during a crisis, you inherit not just sympathy, but suspicion. Especially when leadership transitions coincide with, unresolved violence and criminal activities and legal uncertainty and trials, and especially when donor money and ideological branding are involved. Remember, as I've always told you, this case is so complicated. And you'll never know it by watching cable news or watching regular conservative outlets, because their idea is kind of tamp this down and move on. They hate inquiry and they hate analysis. And here is where empathy is warranted. I feel sorry for Erika Kirk. I empathize. I sympathize. She didn't choose this arena. She didn't train for it. She's navigating grief while being turned into a symbol by people who have their own interests. Symbols are consumed. They're not protected. They're elevated and then discarded when no longer useful. You know how. Look, you've seen this before. TPUSA is not a family. It's an organization. And organizations do not love. They calculate. They strategize. And as soon as TPUSA no longer needs Erika Kirk, she will be removed. I mean, from office. I'm not saying anything nefarious, but she will be, for the betterment, move on, spend time with your family, handsome payout, be gone. But then they're going to say, wait a minute, without Erika Kirk, what is there? They'll figure that one out. Because these people they've been riding high for so long, they forget what TPUSA is. It's about Charlie. And when Charlie died, TPUSA died. Don't kid yourself. Yes, there were massive enrollment figures, which is terrific. But Charlie was the heart and the spirit. He was it. Nobody could do what he did. Nobody. His aura, his countenance, his performance, his persona. Let me tell you something. When they're done with her, it will be done politely, It'll be framed as a transition or new direction. She'll be given some kind of a titular theoretical position. There'll be a very good payout. There always is. And the future leadership will be unrecognizable from what the base was told to revere and support and love. And by the way, this is not cynicism. It's pattern recognition. It's realism. And meanwhile, Candace Owens continues to gain power. Not because she controls anything, but because she refused to stop asking. Power today doesn't come from titles. It comes from attention and credibility with audiences and a platform and metrics and power. And audiences who no longer trust institutions. Candace Owens today has that credibility because she's willing to be disliked. I think she thrives on it. She doesn't perform forgiveness for applause. She doesn't convert grief into branding. She doesn't confuse unity with obeisance or obedience. That is why attempts to silence her will and have failed. And even if Erika Kirk attempts to neutralize Candace, which she won't, but even if she does, through appeals to peace or forgiveness, it won't work because Candace doesn't lose power by refusing to be soothed. She gains it. Every unanswered question becomes a receipt. Every deflection or redirection becomes evidence of avoidance. Let me tell you something. Candace is in the catbird seat here. This is the paradox that TPUSA and its media allies can't resolve. The more they try to control the narrative, the more they validate Candace's central premise that something is being protected. And Candace Owens does not need to be right about everything. She only needs to be unwilling to stop, to be relentless, and she is. This is not a battle. Listen to me. This is not a battle between two women. It is like a collision between institutional preservation and individual inquiry and suspicion and skepticism, which is what we're about. It's a battle between image, management, PR, and unresolved reality. And Erika Kirk is caught in the middle. That is why sympathy is appropriate, but sympathy doesn't change outcomes. Candace Owens will emerge stronger, regardless of what happens in this room. If she's stonewalled, she'll say so. If she is pressured, she'll expose it. If she's offered silence, she will reject it or reveal it. Every path leads to amplification, hers. TPUSA cannot win this by managing, optics and looks. Media can't win this by sanctifying leadership. Forgiveness cannot be weaponized into some kind of compliance. Look, the truth is not afraid of questions. Only structures are, organizations. And right now, Candace Owens is asking the questions no one else will. And you admire her for that. She's indefatigable. She's relentless. That is why this meeting happened. And that is why, no matter how softly it's framed, Candace Owens remains supreme in this fight. Now, that's the reality of this. That's exactly what's happening. And it just got fascinating. And if you go through all of the testimonials and all of the reactions on X or whatever the platforms, you've got these folks who really don't understand the complexity of this. You've got one group of people who just, I guess it's cool to glom on and pile on Candace as some grifter, some whatever it is. It's like, do you not understand what you're doing? Do they not understand how today we live in a world with governments and justice departments and law enforcement who don't do anything? We're feeling that our leadership, elected officials from the White House on down, forget who we are. And we ask ourselves, does anybody stand up for us? Does anybody have the guts, the backbone the integrity, the temerity? Is everybody afraid? No. So when somebody comes up and says, these are my principles, this is what I'm sticking with, and you can't buy me off, you can't, that's it. That's what this is about. And again, I can't be clearer. This is not about Erika Kirk. This sounds weird. She's not even a part of this. I'm sorry to say, it's not about her. She's being used. She's being used by people, and the moment, and you know it's true, if you've been in corporate situations or been in a part of a power structure, the moment you're not needed, the moment you become a liability, you're gone, you're finished. So let's hope it resolves, but be careful. Do not play games with Candace Owens. You want her to agree with you. You don't want to embolden her. You don't want to dismiss her, because she'll come back stronger, and you don't need that. But I'll tell you what I need. I need you to like this video. I need you to join in, to be a part of our, we call it the Conspiratorium. That's who we are. Subscribe to Lionel Nation. I've got questions. Your comments are fantastic. You are the grand jury. You're the ones who can smell through the nonsense. You know when somebody's bluffing, when somebody's lying, when somebody's using the system, and you're very good at that. So, my friends, I ask you right now to accept my thanks for being a part of this, to answer the questions attendant here too, and to comment as you see fit.